What is up, everybody? I'm gonna try and shuffle some cards down here while I do my introductions. Um, so if you haven't heard the news, tomorrow is the Box One live stream. Basically, Box One is a series of puzzles that was created in one box for one person to solve. And I'm gonna do that on Instagram Live. So if you don't know what my Instagram is, it's the period Christian period magician. And if you can't seem to find it that way, go ahead and click the link in my bio. I will probably have it in the comments and the description of this video also. So you'll have plenty of resources to find it. If you go to my about page, it will be my website, which please feel free to go check that out. If you enjoyed my work, you could leave a tip there. Yeah, so with all that being said, I've already rambled on for almost a minute now doing all of that promotional and all that. Yeah, I think it's gonna be time to flip that over. All right, make it look presentable. And get into tonight's trick because it is a doozy. All right, and I don't say that very often, so you know it's got to be a good one. All right, so now let's go ahead and take this here, maybe. All right, let's check the mood. Put a little mood lighting on. Wow, maybe. There we go. I did that so that way it may be a little bit easier to see what's going on while attempting to perform. I put a little shade over the light and it works perfectly almost. Sometimes it slides down, but that's okay. Sometimes the light cuts off too. Anyways, as you heard before, I've shuffled the cards. I'm shuffling them again. So you can see all the cards get truly mixed. Every card interweaves just about. You know what? Here's a true method of shuffling. If you see a card gambler or gambler doing this at a card table, don't play. You'll know they're cheating. Because I promise you, I am cheating because I found my two friends. Yeah, my two friends, the Jokers. Yeah, see, they're the wild cards. They're the wild cards, but they help find cards when I need them. Yeah, see, they help find cards when I need them. And so right now, what I would have you do is find your card. Yes, see the card destined for you, because wherever you say stop, that's the card destined for you. That's your card. That's you. Okay? Now, this could be a little bit like God and his love. See, God and his love, you'll see you're trapped in the middle of a situation. You see, you're on top to start. You finally get to the top of everything. You're fine. But then life throws you a huge curveball, and mixes you all and does like a little life tornado, makes a little mess out of it. All right. And maybe it does that multiple times. Who knows? Maybe it does that multiple times. But that's what happens all throughout life. Is you get mixed up, you get tossed around. You honestly don't know which way you're going. And now I don't remember if I had you select a card or not. I do apologize. My brain's been a mess. So I'm gonna now that the deck has been shuffled again, I'm gonna have you select a card, one card that's meant for you. This time we're gonna do it a little quicker, but go ahead and remember that card for me. Remember this card, not the other card, because well, I kind of yeah, I couldn't remember if you had found that card or not, or had a card or not yet. Anyways, no. So you start on top, like I said, you start on top. Then you get mixed into life. Life throws you a bunch of things to deal with and everything, and this and that and the next thing. See, it's a big old mess. It's a big old mess. That's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it will always be till the end of time, really. But that's where God comes in. He said, "Okay, I'll give them their free will to make their choices and everything, because you gotta have free will." And well, when they make their mistakes and get really deep into those messes, um, I'll help them out. All they have to do is choose to accept it. And see, when you choose to accept God's love, so we'll here take a little better of a look at it. We'll take a little better of a look at it. You can see here, it's got a little bit of a catcher. Yes, it's got a little bit of a catcher. So when you finally choose to make the right decision by accepting God's love. I mean, literally, it was a free gift to you by accepting God's love. That's all you got to do is you got to pray. There may be a little more shuffling around, a little bit more mixing, maybe a little more mixing, a little more shuffling around, and all of that. But I promise you, it'll be well worth it when you can finally find yourself in God's love, because it's always there. It's always there. And when you find yourself in the middle of that, rather than in the middle of this big old mess, you'll find you're at peace a lot more. Especially because you'll know. Oops. Especially because you'll know you're there. Ta-da! So that was a little bit of a train wreck because I couldn't remember if you had selected a card or not. I really didn't remember. So hopefully this was your second card, or even if it was your first card, then we did a real trick. Um, anyways, we're gonna close this out with saying, yeah, I completely forgot what I was gonna say. And I'm gonna close this out by saying though, just try to find God's love. If you can't do that, find a friend that can help you find God's love in your life, and do that. Like that. I mean, I lost sight of it. Basically, I ran from God for a little bit of my life. I was brought up Christian, raised in a church, all of that, and I still had my battles. Literally, like I from since birth, I had been raised Christian, and I got into some pretty unchristian things, is what it would be classified as. Let's put it that way. And I found God. It's still a struggle. Not gonna lie. It's still a struggle every day. Sin, temptation, all that. Guilt, shame from those past mistakes. But see, shame is something the devil tells you, oh, this is what you've got to have, now that you're free from this past thing. Yeah, see, God doesn't give you shame or guilt or regret, and you definitely don't do it. That's another lie from the devil, that when he told you this, oh, this thing isn't that bad. This is all right if you just do it once, do it twice. This is all right. It's not like it's that bad. Or it's relabeling it of different things of like, oh well, it's this. It's not that bad. Trust me, it's bad. And when you're second guessing yourself like that, like, oh well, this will be fine. Stop. Look at the whole situation and be like, wait a second. Wait a second. Let me stop this mess. Let me stop this mess before I get into it. Okay, you need to. Say you're presented with a situation that's not really the best thing, like is not good, and you come into that situation and you're like, huh. Well, I mean, I guess it's not really that bad. I mean, it's just once, it's just twice, or my friends are doing it, so I'm doing it. I know that sounds a little cliche, but or all the people around me are doing it, so it's fine. No, it's fine. That's sin and temptation. You need to stop, evaluate the situation, and then proceed from there. Whether you should say, oh no, man, I'm good, or oh yeah, no, that's fine. Because if you say, oh no, yeah, that's fine, and it's not fine, you're gonna have some trouble later on. And that's where guilt and shame comes in, is because once you're finally free from making that mistake, because we've all sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. We're human. We make mistakes. We're bound to make them. We're bound to make that wrong decision of saying, that's fine, when it's not fine. When we make that decision, it's our job, once we realize we've made the wrong choice, to get back out of it the right way. Don't cut corners. Don't do this. Don't oh, well, yeah. Like, don't be on the fence about it. Like, if you are going to leave that wrong decision, I trust me, I say this from experience. I've done this before. I've made the wrong choice, and then I was on the fence about it, and then being on the fence put me back into that wrong choice. Don't be on the fence about it. Hop right over. Do not hesitate, or else you're going to fall right back in. And now there are those few people who are on the fence about it and then fall to the good side of it. But that it doesn't always work like that. So why take the risk? And now I know it can be hard. It is very hard to just hop over that fence. I say that like it's such an easy thing, but it's not. I trust me. I know it's not easy. You got to dive with both feet in, because a lot of times when this happens is when people hit rock bottom. Literally, they've hit the bottom of the pool, and now there's nowhere but for them to go up. And once they find the way to go up, I don't know why I was going with the pool analogy. Basically, you've made it to the most bottom part of the basement of the house, and now you've got to find your way to the stairs, find your way back up to that door, because the devil's gonna try and keep that door locked. You gotta unlock that door, get out of that door, and stay up there, because that's when sin, or not sin and temptation. Sin and temptation is what got you down there. Guilt and shame, the cousins of sin and temptation, are waiting out on the other side of that door when you get it unlocked and get out of there. And so once you're up there and you meet their cousins, it's gonna be another battle. Literally, think of it like levels in a house. Think of it like levels in a house. When you start in life, you're up in the attic. You're up in the attic. The attic's the best place to be. Okay? Throughout life, as you're making your mistakes, you start going down through the house, and it's bad. It's bad. And you finally make it down to the basement. Like, I need to get back up. And it's a struggle, because you gotta climb up all those stairs to get back up. And I know this is just me rambling about faith and everything. If you are here for the magic, I apologize. The magic is done for the night. Please feel free to go back and watch the stream. You can either scroll that red ticker across the bottom of your screen. It's probably about here right now, all the way on this side. Just scroll it back to the beginning, and you can watch the magic then or now, or you can wait till the video is done and then rewatch the video. Right now, I'm rambling about faith, but it's a good rambling. So, hello, Phoenix. Thank you for stopping by. If you are here for the magic, please feel free to do that. But stay for the faith, because that's what I'm here for, is to help preach this word. It's tied to the trick I just did. So this message that I'm sharing now is tied to the trick I just did. And so God's love is in the attic. The attic is heaven, okay? The first and second and third floor of the house, however many floors there are, your imagination, go with it, okay? That's your life, okay? You're not going to make it up here until God lets you, okay? Because until he comes back, riding on the cloud, blowing the trumpet, you're not going to make it up here just yet to God's love. Like, you can be in God's love. God's love is all over the house. God's love is there. God is up in the attic, okay? You've got to make it through life, getting as close to that attic as possible. But that's where sin and temptation comes in, dragging you down to the basement. Once you get to the basement, where a lot of people end up getting, they hit rock bottom, of the most bottom part of the basement, and they have to fight their way back up, trying to fight their way back to the attic. And God welcomes it with open arms. That's the best part. He sent his son down to the basement, bearing everybody's basement monster. Okay? The basement monster, which is the sin. Okay? He bore everybody's sin. And I'm not going to make it the Sunday school version of Jesus, of where, oh, well, he got killed on a piece of wood. No. These barbs on the end of these lashes were like hooks, they literally looked like hooks, like this. And they dug into him. They gave him 40 lashes. Okay, in the middle of a crowd watching and cheering on. And the Roman soldier is whipping and just tearing away at his skin. He is chained to a post. The Roman soldier just doing what he's told, a normal day at work, whipping and whipping and whipping and whipping 40 times over. And then Jesus had to go up, walk up to Calvary. And yes, he did get a little help along the way from a good Samaritan. He's like this, going up, literally falling over and over again, and has a crown of thorns on his head, bearing the weight of your sin for you. And then they take 4-inch nails and drive it through his hands, each of his hands with his arms spread wide. With his arms spread wide, they drive the nails through each of his hands on the cross, and then they place his feet together and drive one through both of his feet. 4-inch nails. Then they're not like these little like hardware nails you see. They're like this big, like 1-inch diameter. But they're not round; they're square because it's just the technology back then. That's how it was, how a nail was. And they're pounding and pounding and pounding. He has lashes all over his back. And then, right as he after he's dead, his soldier comes and stabs a spear in his side to make sure he is dead. Okay, so he literally came down to the basement of this house with all your sin monsters. That's what I'm going to call them, because the monsters live in the basement. Kind of analogies where I'm going. The monsters live in the basement. He's in the basement of the house with you. And instead of you having to deal with all of these monsters, he's taking these monsters upon himself and letting them die with him, essentially. And he's using his love. God is using his love through his son, through Jesus, while he's on the cross. And he's using his love through his son to cover you from those monsters. Okay, so those monsters won't get you. And which is why he's able to then help you up the stairs of the basement to unlock the door, then help you to get past guilt and shame. Guilt and shame, like I said before, when I first started this was saying, is a tool by the devil to get you to fall back into sin. The guilt and shame is to help you balance on that fence I was talking about. Okay? That fence. It's a very narrow line. And guilt and shame are sitting right there. Like two birds on a fence post or on a power line, whatever. Whatever analogy you want to use. It's a very fine line. Guilt and shame are on either side of you. You get up to that point and you can't stop here. It's going to be very difficult. Like I said, it's going to be very difficult. But if you stop here, there's a very good chance to fall back this way. But if you stop here, don't be there long. Don't be guilt and shame. That is a tool the devil tries to use to get you to fall back over here. That's where the devil wants you, is away from God. God is over here. He's right on the other side of the line. He's reaching over. He can get over this line easily, but he wants you to have that free will to reach over yourself and grab his hand and walk with him. See, that's the whole reason God doesn't just reach over into our sin and grab us and be like, no, get out of that. Like our parents do sometimes. Like, no, get out of that. You've had enough candy. You've had enough cookies. No, don't sneak a cookie. Like, he doesn't snatch us away from that sin. He lets us do it, learn from our mistakes and why we have a sweet tooth now. Of like, oh, well, I really shouldn't have done that. Oh, why does my stomach hurt? I really shouldn't have done that. And then when we're ready, we go over and we apologize and all this and all that. He doesn't need the apologies. He just wants your love. All right? It even says in the Bible, for I am a jealous God. He is. He's jealous. Like he's jealous. He wants your love and worship, and because he like, why wouldn't you want to love and worship this God that made you like to where you can live, breathe, play, work, like all of this. You can have all of this. You have all of this because of him. Like all of this stuff, like the stuff you're wearing, the stuff you're doing, it's because of him. He made the person that made this stuff, and he made you to use this stuff. So why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you thank the person that did that for you? Why wouldn't you thank him by doing the one thing? Okay, so like when you a friend does something for you, a friend does something for you, and you say, "Oh, thanks, man. Like, what can I do to repay this?" He says, "Nothing. Your love is all. Our friendship is all we need. All I need is to know that you are loyal to me." When your friend says that to you, you respect that. Like, you don't need to get them a material object or anything. And so that's all God is asking for is your love in return. Because he sent his love to cover your sins. He sent his love to cover your sins, the things that keep you away from him. And so he sent his son to bridge that gap. That's why this is here. This is the gap between you and God. This is between you and others. It's a cool analogy, but I'm not going into that right now. That's a different story. Although it ties all together, it's really cool. But the reason for that is because he bridged that gap. Jesus, he's holding God's hand in one because, well, he's his father, and our hand in the other. He's bridging that gap between us and God. And it's not exact at the top of the hill, and there was a whole cool little analogy about it, of where it was kind of slanted, Jesus, because his body like shifted to one side wherever the gravity was holding, and whatever his knees fell out and all that. There was a whole like little archaeological study and scientific study, all that. It was really cool to watch and listen to, but of how like that could relate. Like if his body was falling this way, that would mean he wasn't exactly at the top of the mountain, all that. But basically, one hand was reaching towards heaven, one hand was reaching towards earth. Was the way they had viewed like where the crosses would have positioned and all of that. Like they did a whole bunch of science and archaeological digs to find this evidence. Because of course they didn't have pictures back then. But when they did this, oops, I apologize that light keeps kicking off, y'all. I had a shade on it for the trick. But when when they found out, it was like this kind of. It was a little bit out of slant. Like not enough of a slant where they would literally just fall off the cross, he and the two thieves, but enough of a slant where it was like that cool little analogy. But that's what it is he bridges the gap for us to be able to get to God. For I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father except by me. John 14. That's exactly what it is. And so we need to be able to meet Jesus in our hardest place, or wherever we meet Jesus at. It doesn't matter, but we are all going to fall short of sin and fall short of the glory of God. It's written in the Bible. We're human. We make mistakes. And so when we make those mistakes, we find Jesus, we meet him, he accepts you with open arms, and you give him a big hug, and he has this grappling hook around his waist, like Batman, and he's going to zip you right up to heaven. Now, you're going to have some struggles along the way. You're going to have some knots in that wire, okay? Because that wire is attached to you, too. And so you're going to have some knots in that wire, some bumps along the way, try and separate you from Jesus. But once you truly have Jesus, once you truly have him, you're not going to be able to let go. Yeah, you're not going to be able to let go. And see, there's a lot of people out there. Never mind, that's another story for another time. Sorry, I'm starting to branch off again. This has already been a 25-minute ramble. But it's a good ramble. That's the thing, is I call it rambling, but it's a good thing. But anyways, so to wrap this all up, basically, That's what the card trick was. The card trick was we get shuffled into the mess. And here, I'll do it one more time for you, just for those who are tuning in late, who didn't tune in for the card trick at the beginning. All right, you can see we're placed at the top of the world. This is where we're at when we're born. All right, and then over here we have God's love. All right, God's love. I just used the two jokers to represent. It's not meaning anything specific. Just God's love over here. All right, let me point the camera down just a tad, so that way it'll be a little bit easier on me, because I'm trying to use the table at the same time. Anyways, so we're placed on top of the world, okay? We're on top of the world, not literally, figuratively. Anyways, we're at our top. Then sin comes into our lives and starts to play around a little bit, starts to mix everything up. Yeah, it starts to mix everything up until you get lost. You get lost. Literally, you can't do anything about it. Here, we'll do a full shuffle where every card gets interweaved, where we don't even know where we are anymore. We're lost. And we call out for God's love. And God's love comes over. God's love comes over. You could see right here. He reaches in like a grappling hook or like a claw in a prize machine. He finds you where you're at. He finds you where you're at. Like so. All right, he finds you where you're at. And then you're over here still dealing with your mess. You're like, you call out to God and sometimes he won't respond right away, like, because it's not time. And you'll probably be annoyed by this. Like, God, why didn't you answer for me? I'm still over here dealing with this mess. What are you talking about? It's not time yet. What are you talking about? And then when it's time, he'll call you. He'll call you. Right? Maybe like so. Maybe see, like I said, it wasn't time yet. He'll call you home. I don't know if you can see that very well, but he'll call you into his love. And you're already there. You're already there. That's the thing. You're already there. But just like so, he'll call you over to his love. And I hope you enjoyed my 30-minute sermon, message, whatever you want to call it. Please feel free to go back and watch it if you enjoy. I see a couple of you coming in now. Oh, hey, man. See, I haven't seen you in a while. But thank you for sharing it. It's been a while since I've seen you, man. But yeah, so that is literally everything I've got on that subject. I'm trying to do this with all the tricks now, just condense it down a little more to where it's not a 30-minute live stream. So that way we can get people in after the stream is over. Because in the stream is good. It's fine. It's great. It's awesome. But for watching the post replays, we want to get that going as quick as we can, so that way it won't what is the word? It won't deter them from it being like, oh well, man, that's a 30-minute magic video, probably full of magic. Well, no, wait, there's a sermon in here. Let me click off the video. Like, I don't want to do that. So it's great for the people that do want to watch the 30-minute sermon, but I don't want them to just be clicking off the video right away. If it's like a 5-10 minute video, 15 is like the max that I'm trying to aim for. Yeah. Anyways, be sure to stay tuned for tomorrow. Like I said, I'll put the link in the comments to my Instagram. If you haven't checked it out already, or if you want to check it out right now and don't want to wait for a little bit, go check out my About page. You'll see my website, and there you can be directed to Instagram. Other than that, tomorrow, though, with the Instagram, I'll be unboxing box 1. As I said before, a series of puzzles created by Neil Patrick Harris and Theory 11. I'm going to go through and solve it on live stream on Instagram. And yeah, hopefully it'll be fun. So that's going to be it for tonight. I hope you guys enjoy. Please don't forget to leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace and have a blessed night.